Think back to a time when everything in your life looked perfect on paper, yet you felt completely hollow inside. Now compare that to a moment of total chaos. Maybe you were standing completely still in a rushing crowd, where you felt entirely at peace. We operate under a system of conditional happiness. We treat joy like a contract with the future. When I get that job, when I make that money, when people finally understand me, then I am allowed to be happy. By locking our joy behind an imaginary when, we turn the present moment into a perpetual waiting room. We spend decades postponing our actual lives for a future scenario that never quite arrives. Look at this processing engine of the mind. Every single day, we feed it a steady diet of complaints, comparisons, and stress. And then we expect peace as the output. The math simply does not work. Joy emerges as you strip away old mental habits, rather than piling on more achievements or possessions. Joy is entirely untethered from your future timeline. It is a pre-existing internal state, sitting right there, buried under the daily clutter we refuse to let go of. From childhood, we are trained to treat discomfort as a threat. We are told to run from sadness, avoid pain, and instantly suppress any feeling that makes us uneasy. But an ignored emotion doesn't disappear. It gets pushed down into a closed container, where it mutates. That buried pain eventually fractures, rising back to the surface as chronic overthinking, unexplainable stress, and generalized anxiety. We mistakenly view joy and sorrow as enemies. In reality, they belong to the exact same emotional spectrum. They are two sides of a single human experience. When you try to selectively numb or block out the sadness, your emotional capacity shrinks. You inadvertently numb your ability to feel genuine joy. The solution is counterintuitive. You have to stop running. When discomfort hits, you sit with it. You allow the emotion to process until it naturally dissolves on its own. Resilient joy builds only when you allow yourself to sit with and accept your own pain. The human mind is a relentless time traveler. We constantly abandon the current moment to project ourselves into a past that is over or a future that hasn't happened. Think about sitting down to a great meal. Physically, you are right there at the table. Mentally, you are miles away, entirely absent because you're stressing over a meeting tomorrow. You taste absolutely nothing. This future projection creates a continuous loop of anxiety. You drain energy in the present, fighting imaginary scenarios that don't exist. When not terrified of tomorrow, we project backward, relitigating decisions and carrying guilt for events that cannot be changed. The reality of time is fixed. The past is a memory, and the future is an imagination. Joy strictly exists in the present. To actually feel anything positive, you have to stop thinking about your life and start physically experiencing it in the now. Most of us operate with a baseline hum of constant dissatisfaction. We convince ourselves that just a little more money, a little more respect, or a little more love will finally make us whole. The trap of acquisition is biological. The moment you acquire that external prize, your mind rapidly adapts to the new normal. The excitement fades and is instantly replaced by a new fear, the fear of losing what you just got. This means the moment you acquire something and attach your identity to it, you loop into a fear of loss. You have handed the control of your internal happiness over to volatile external factors. Freedom exists when you reach a state of non-attachment, where the fear of loss no longer dictates your internal state. Non-attachment does not mean apathy. You can love deeply, care for your family, and work hard on your ambitions. You just do it without being paralyzed by the fear of the final result. Releasing the illusion of control stabilizes your internal world, proving that happiness comes from letting go rather than gathering more. Imagine the quiet internal space that opens up in your mind when the exhausting weight of comparison, expectation, and fear suddenly drops away. You fill that newly cleared space with gratitude. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is inherently, undeniably present. Here is a practical challenge. Today, commit to sitting completely alone for exactly 2 minutes. Absolutely no phone, no background music, and no escape. It will feel uncomfortable at first, but facing that silence is the prerequisite to learning how to listen to your own mind. The stability built through presence and surrender remains unshakable, unlike the fragile, conditional happiness we usually chase. Think of joy as a way of traveling through the world, rather than a destination you are trying to find. It has been waiting inside you all along,